Hello everyone, and welcome to this season's first episode of Speechless. I'm your host, Nina Pellechio, and today we'll be debating the issues that matter. We do everything from politicians to pop culture, giving you a full view of the world as best we can. Every week, two teams debate three topics from the distant past to the potential future. I will be acting as host and judge, awarding the team whose smarts have impressed me the most throughout the three debates. At the end of the semester, the two teams with the most points will duke it out in one final debate to determine which team will be Speechless Grand Champion. Now that we all know how to play, let's get down to debating. Ready, set, Speechless. Today, we'll be discussing the issue of political bullying and relating that to Chris Christie's hijinks. Next, have the paparazzi crossed the line of privacy, or are they in the clear because celebrities have signed up for this lifestyle? And finally, we'll talk about Bitcoins and whatever the heck they do. Our two teams are here and ready to battle it out. To the right, sit the Knights. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Hi everybody, my name is Rachel Campana. I'm a freshman producing major, and an interesting fact about me, I traveled to California when I was only 8 weeks old.
Hey everybody, I'm Camila Zagarzazu. I'm a freshman journalism major, and an interesting fact about myself is that I'm from Buenos Aires, Argentina.
And to my left, sit the Vikings. Why don't you girls tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Hi everyone, I am Amber Lewicki and I am a junior, and an interesting fact about me is that I studied abroad in London at Regent's University.
Ooh.
And I'm Alexandra Bender. I'm a sophomore writing for film and television major, and an interesting fact about me is that I was a published author at 13 years old.
Wow, we've got some interesting debaters this semester, so let's begin. You know when you're a kid and somebody makes you angry and you do something to get back at them? You know how you're supposed to outgrow that kind of stuff? Well, not everybody does, it turns out. Politicians do that all the time. They're just better at not getting caught. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie has been receiving flack for the George Washington Bridge lane closures that occurred last year. The closing caused tremendous traffic and did not look good for the governor, who is a presidential hopeful for the upcoming 2016 election. Christie has been denying any knowledge of the closing, but recent evidence proved his role in the event. Many reporters claim that there have been instances of this type of political bullying all over the country. The difference is that what Christie did was a more public version of a standard political practice. Before we begin our debate, let's get a little more insight on the issue.
My name's Spencer Kimball. I teach political communication, polling, policy, public opinion, and senior capstone projects for comm studies and political communication.
My name's Michael Weiler, and I teach political communication and in the communication management master's program.
Bullying could take on a bunch of different forms.
Well, in political terms, obviously it's threatening people that if they don't do what you want, you'll do something bad to them.
Anytime somebody would do something that they normally wouldn't because of pressure from another would be considered bullying.
I know that Governor Christie's staff organized these traffic jams in Fort Lee as a payback for the refusal of the mayor there to endorse Christie in the election.
I think Christie, what he wanted to do was try to get rid of the story as quickly as possible, right. And the first thing that we teach people to do is to dismiss the story.
And I don't think many people will really believe that he didn't know about them.
But he runs into a real problem there, because either he says, I know nothing about this, which shows that he's not has control over his office, or he says, I know about this, which means that he was in on this type of behavior.
Yeah, I've heard reports that he has a background of this kind of political tough guy operating. And so that makes this not altogether surprising either, and makes it much more difficult to believe that he didn't know about it. It may be that he didn't know about this specific thing.
He's you know, diced one way or another.
So debaters, do we have a bad problem of political bullying in our country? Let's hear from the Knights.
Well, as we know, Governor Chris Christie, he had made massive traffic problems because he closed down 3 lanes of the bridge. And he just did that in political retribution to the mayor, who was Mark Sokolich, for his decision to not endorse Christie's re-election campaign, but instead endorse his opponent. So I think it's an obvious example of political bullying.
And
Okay, first of all, it's unfair of us to incriminate Governor Christie because this investigation is still ongoing, and we simply don't know at this point if he actually was himself involved. What we do know is that his aide, Bridget Ann Kelly, sent out an email that did indeed cause these facts, but it wasn't in itself at this point Christie. We don't know that for sure. So.
But do you think that with all of the allegations that we kind of do know, or do you think that it's definitely still under investigation?
I mean, we can look at this point in history. When the Watergate scandal was first broken by Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein, we didn't have all the facts when they came out with their Washington Post articles. And it wasn't until the Watergate trials that we actually knew that Nixon, in fact, ordered them. He may not have directly told the burglars to break into the Watergate building, but he told the people who did tell the burglars to do it. So in a way, relating this back to the Christie incident, Chris Christie must have done something to tell his aide who blocked the bridge.
And I mean, history does repeat itself, apparently. What do you guys have to say for that?
Right. Just going with that, though, this whole thing about has it gone too far? And with the Watergate and with Chris Christie, these are isolated incidents. They're not, it's not something that we hear about on a weekly basis, and this is why they are so big. So it really begs the question, I mean, can you go off of just that? Has it really gone so far if we don't hear about it? I mean, there might be a scandal every few years. It's not something that, we shouldn't base it off of that.
But do you think that there are a lot of those scandals that we don't hear about, or do you think because we don't hear, it's probably not going too far?
Potentially, but at the same time, with what they said about Watergate, we actually did get we did get more facts revealed to us over time, and Nixon did perpetuate the spying on his opponent's campaign. But there is evidence that saying Christie's people were involved, but he has not had that role within the scandal,
right.
And he has taken action for it. Whereas historically, it has been worse.
And I mean, and Christie, we have to point out, he has tried to make retribution for this. He has said, I'm sorry, he fired the aide. He realizes that this was wrong. And Christie,
right.
when he was the New Jersey's United States State's attorney, that was his platform, was he went after political corruption. Candidates who went that. This is his background,
Do you think
But this has not been his only scandal in the past 6 months. Shortly after the bridge scandal came to light, we found out that Mayor of Hoboken, New Jersey, Dawn Zimmer, was told that if she did not endorse Chris Christie's real estate project, that she would not get necessary Hurricane Sandy funds needed to rebuild her town. This is another form of political bullying, and it has gone too far in our nation. This is the second one in 6 months for Chris Christie. It is way too far, especially with Chris Christie.
Those allegations, though, too, are being refuted. They're saying, the Sandy relief
politicians are always going to refute something bad about themselves. Look at Bill Clinton when he was first charged with, or when he was first told about the cheating allegations. He said, I had never had sex with that woman, and yes, he did.
That's his personal life, not relation to his political career. That has no effect on him as a president.
But it doesn't matter. Either way, they are going to refute anything negative. Nobody wants anything negative told about them. I mean, in the Obama administration itself, Obama's cabinet, they are not the best people, and especially his administration, they are extremely negative towards the press. They are always telling the press to get all those negative stories out. They don't want anything bad said about the president. They only want positive stories. Why do you think there are always
But there are negative stories all the time.
but they're always washed over. He did lots and lots of negative things. He bullies the press.
And do you think
politicians have to make tough choices, and they're never going to please everybody? For example, historically, Huey Long, governor of Louisiana, was known as a political bully because he intimidated FDR among his other allies and enemies, but he also got things done. He is remembered for paving roads and helping education for lesser income areas. Force is needed to get something done.
All right, guys, I'm gonna have to cut you guys off there. Very great debate. I really like how you guys brought up Watergate. I think that's an excellent example, kind of tying it into the Chris Christie situation. Similar feelings, similar scandal type situation. And I really liked how you guys said that a politician can never please anybody. Never, even when it might not be them, even when it might be their party. It's good to know that it never please everyone. But I have to award the point to you guys. I thought your debate was better. I really liked your style. You stuck to the facts, and you gave me very good evidence. So, first point goes to the Knights. But who knows? In a couple of months, this scandal might be water under the traffic-congested bridge. Stay tuned for more after these messages.
Take one, cue.
So wake me up when it's all over, when I'm wiser and I'm older. All this time I was finding myself, and I didn't know I was lost.
Hi, welcome to Lion's Den, Emerson Channel's only sports comedy talk show. I'm your host,
Stefan Griswold, and this is my co-host, Luis Mejias.
Okay, so Luis, that's my, you're under.
You want to stand there, maybe?
What if we stood like this?
I think but that would make my chest look very pointy.
True.
You're right.
What if we spun?
Just.
Guys, we're live.
What?
Oh, hi, I'm Marcos,
I'm Willem.
and we are out-of-studio correspondents.
Also, we're cowboys.
We are...
Hi, I'm Annie Carroll, and I'll be covering everything Emerson sports and sports outside of Emerson.
Tune in for Lion's Den this semester to talk some sports and see some comedy. Really, anything could happen.
Welcome back, viewers. For our next debate, we will be deliberating whether or not the paparazzi is taking its job a step too far. Celebrities such as Kristen Bell have recently gone on record stating, in order for them to get a picture of a kid at a park, it means that the kid was followed by strange men who were yelling and calling him names. Since August 31st, 1997, when Princess Diana's fatal car crash was thought to be caused by the overbearing paparazzi, the debate on freedom of press and the pop's effects on celebrities has been a heated one. Those in favor of the paparazzi's rights argue that celebrities subject themselves to this sort of attention when they decide to go down this type of career path. But the real question lies in if the price of fame warrants being practically stalked on a daily basis. Does freedom of the press cross the line with the lives of celebrities, or do celebrities forfeit some of their privacy rights when they choose this career? Let's get started.
Yes, without a doubt, the press has gone too far with this. These celebrities that, we call them that's a term that we have for them, but they're still human beings. They still have a right to privacy, and privacy is something that we're given here in the United States. It's a right, and just because their chosen profession puts them in the public eyes doesn't mean that we should just take everything away from them.
Paparazzi has freedom of the press, and there are laws that, for example, they go into your property, it's awfully against the law. But my biggest issue is that there are celebrities like Britney Spears or Angelina Jolie and her husband, who you see them all the time on the cover of People and stuff like that. But there's people like Matt Damon, Johnny Depp, they're never on the covers. And why? The people that go to these hot, spots, you can't be like, oh, there's a paparazzi. I wasn't expecting to see them. No, because you're going to these, VIP clubs in LA or Hollywood, and obviously the paparazzi, if you want privacy, you can go out of your way to go through the back door. There's some people who tip off the paparazzi because they want to get attention, they want to get photos. So I think it's in their right, it's their job. Like their job as long as the celebrities are actors, but it's your decision. If you're a celebrity and want to get in the public eye, it's easy to do that. If you want to stay private, it's also
but
easy
not
to do that
every
too.
celebrity wants to be hounded by the paparazzi all the time, and their constant following grows into stalking territory, as we've seen with Kate Middleton and her recent topless photo scandal, where they were in a secluded area and a sleazy journalist was stalking them getting photos.
Now, Bender, I'm going to take that, but I'm also going to go back to Amber's opening point. You said that celebrities have the right of privacy. Nowhere in our Constitution are we guaranteed the right of privacy. Nobody is guaranteed the right of privacy unless it is on private land. These celebrities put themselves in the public eye on purpose. As my colleague said, they can easily go around the press. Many people are tipping the press off, and the paparazzi.
Right, and there is a disparity between the types of celebrities out there. There are the ones that tip them off, but then there are the ones that have children. And when they're taking their children to school and they're being hounded, or when you go after the celebrity's child, that's a little bit too far. And that's something that has gone so far that legislation has been passed in California. Just this January 1st, it was passed into law.
Celebrities also have public relations, they have publicists, they have agents, they have people that are trying to respect their image, and obviously you're a celebrity, you have to be on your game the entire time. But if you have kids,
image is different
you have
from
bodyguards.
legal action caused by the paparazzi.
There are special schools in California that protect celebrities' children's rights. Why are they not sending their children there to those special schools if they're not?
They're
because
definitely
if they're
there
not
are.
sending them there, then they're not caring, and they purposely want their children to be in the public eye, because if your children are shown as
This is
purposely
a generalization about all celebrities. Not all celebrities want to be in that public eye constantly.
And those who don't want to be in the public eye, they aren't. Johnny Depp, we never see him in the magazines. Matt Damon,
yeah, we do. He was on People for his engagement.
But is it all negative?
The only pictures I ever see of Johnny Depp are of him maybe walking down the street. He is not hounded very much by paparazzi. People respect him. They respect his privacy because he doesn't go after the paparazzi.
There's also just like low profile. If you go with your hat down, your sunglasses on, you're not like somebody who comes up in their Mercedes-Benz to the nicest restaurant in LA. There's a reason. If he wants his privacy, you can make it so that you're not seen. But if you're obviously showing yourself off,
or were they candid?
They were candid, but it's not like they were right up against his face. No. They were easily hundreds of yards away. Let's look at Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt and their children. They once took their children to this high-end samurai sword fight in Las Vegas. You don't take children to Las Vegas and then expect no paparazzi.
No, and
the
absolutely,
paparazzi followed them.
And
they sent out a press release telling them that they were going to be there. They purposely wanted the press. And they wanted Angelina Jolie to be shown as Mother Teresa, that she will save all the children in the world.
Okay, but so let's agree. Yes, when you take your children out into the public place, or when you're in the public sphere, then yes, you know what, it's fair game or whatever. But when you have incidents almost on a daily basis of these paparazzi trespassing into people's actual yards to get that close shot, and like we said, like the Kate Middleton photo, that was taken with an extremely long lens.
And it's also
all right, guys, gotta cut you off.
border.
That was a really good closing point. I thought it was really interesting you mentioned trespassing, because that is an invasion of privacy. And I thought it was also good that you kind of mentioned them going after children, because as people in society, we know that that's not something, children are looked at as pure and good, and we don't want people stalking them like the paparazzi are. But what I did like about your argument was that you brought up the Constitution and the fact that freedom of press is constitutional. So I'm going to award the points to you in favor of our government, and the Knights take this round. But sometimes people just need a break from cameras, and on that note, we're going to cut to commercial. And we're back for tonight's final debate. Bitcoin is an online system of currency that is composed of completely digital money. Its website calls it cash on the internet and a decentralized peer-to-peer payment network that is powered by its users. What sets it apart? It's not overlooked by any governmental authority or gold standard setter. In short, it is the people's money where the people set the prices and standards for worth and value. Before we get to arguing, let's get some outside opinions on the issue.
Hi, my name's Dom Rosato, and I'm here to give Speechless an introduction to exactly what Bitcoin is. So Bitcoin is a digital cryptocurrency which differs from something like an American dollar in that Bitcoins are completely digital and they have no physical characteristics. So how Bitcoin works is that when an individual wants to make a transaction with another individual, it's all done online. So essentially each person has a wallet, and this wallet contains their Bitcoins. And so when someone wants to make a transaction and send Bitcoins from one wallet towards another, what happens is that this information is processed by someone known as a miner. A miner can be anybody essentially, and all they do is they donate the processing power of their computer towards completing these transactions. So a miner receives a transaction fee and also receives Bitcoins that are entering into the market at the same time, which is different from something like an American dollar in that the money is continuously printed and then circulated. So one of the big challenges that Bitcoin faces is that it's a relatively volatile currency. The value of it is not completely set, and it's experienced multiple bubbles. And so the last one was in November of 2013, where Bitcoin received its highest value of one Bitcoin for $1,100 before it dramatically decreased in price and lost about 30% of its value. So Bitcoin has experienced a steady rise over its inception, but one of the big issues that Bitcoin faces is whether or not it's going to be accepted by retailers everywhere. A couple of large online retailers, such as Overstock.com, accepts Bitcoins, for example, but Amazon doesn't accept Bitcoins. So that's a brief overview of what exactly Bitcoins are and how they operate. So let's go back to the studio and see what you guys think about it.
Knights, let's hear from you.
Thank you, Nina. When Bitcoin was first developed in software, nobody could have imagined what it could have done. And in that, it is a breeding ground for illicit activities and the black market. As you said, people can buy hookers and they can buy drugs, and it is just, it's a horrible thing, and people are using Bitcoin to buy and sell houses without having to pay taxes, because since Bitcoin has no government oversight, there are no taxes on anything, therefore it is cheaper. On top of that, the Bitcoin value fluctuates. In fact, in the past 24 hours, the Bitcoin has lost $160.
Wow. Let's hear from
Well, Bitcoins are actually quite interesting because one, they're globalized, which people are able to use these all over the world. It's a single unit. It's also payment happens instantly. There's no middleman. There's an incentive to use them because the credit card actions take a few days, Bitcoin transactions happen instantly. Your money's not in limbo, and it progresses economy. NPR's Planet Money even says Bitcoins have value. They're worth more than gold last November, and they're future-minded since we have seen retail giant Overstock has started accepting Bitcoins, and people have bought over $600,000 worth of goods. It's clearly beneficial for the economy.
And not just the illicit goods. They've been buying other things
People
as well.
can do illicit. People have done illicit activity with paper money as well, which when it was introduced was also thought of as worthless. So it's the same thing with Bitcoins.
The problem with Bitcoins, though, is that you're completely anonymous. So people have been using it for money laundering, online gambling.
Every action is seen. There's a site that sees every single action. So although you yourself may be transparent, there are still ways of seeing it.
But who is watching these transparent?
The Silk Road.
People are they're still trading on the black market, like as
But
she
people
said
are
with
also doing
hookers.
the same thing with credit card and cash. Bitcoins are also.
Let's go past the criminal activity. If I were to have bought one Bitcoin yesterday, I would have paid $700.
You take
if
that
I
risk
were
with
to
the stock
buy
market. It's just, I mean, that's just
I
the
don't
way
think
that
that's
it is.
the
Can be,
stock
no matter
market.
what currency
The stock
it
market
is.
is just like Bitcoin. It fluctuates up and down. But you know, Bitcoin fluctuates more than the stock market. The stock market usually goes a couple dollars up or down every day.
However, there is an incentive to use Bitcoins. As I've said earlier, there's no credit card company getting a cut of the purchase. People are more likely to use that. People have more money or Bitcoins to use. and therefore they're able to. There's more of an incentive to use them, and it pumps back into the economy, not just our economy, but globally as well. It's a consistent unit, and it can transfer to dollars
but it doesn't
as well.
help our government.
How does it not help our sales tax? If it helps
Without
our
our sales tax, how can we pave our roads? We can't pay our public workers.
There are plenty of taxes going on in the U.S. already as it is.
No, there aren't.
absolutely.
Without
There
sales tax,
No, no,
we
no, no.
can't pay our public workers.
Without a doubt, the greatest incentive of a Bitcoin is that it has the ability to be globalized. The Bitcoin is not dependent on if a government's economy fails or not. You know, if Greece's economy fails in the next year again or whatever, the Bitcoin is there to help those people that have invested into it.
But you know what can
It's
happen
not
in the next 6
dependent on it.
months? The value can go from $700 to $540, and it can go all the way down to $18 in less than a day.
But again,
Because
the same thing happens
Bitcoin
with every
loses value
speculating.
every second.
But this can happen with any commodity.
It was at a high today of 840. So what are you to do? I mean,
It's extremely unreliable, though, and a lot of people are using it.
How is it unreliable?
And
It
it
was worth
takes
more
a
than
while
gold
to
last
actually
November.
buy a
NPR's Planet
Bitcoin.
Money blog has specifically pointed that out.
It attracts cyber criminals that use it to steal funds and steal other people's bitcoins.
And when you
cyber criminals
to
have been
buy
there from
Bitcoin, you have to
beforehand.
have a Bitcoin wallet, and the Bitcoin wallet
Aren't
you
protected.
don't know if they're actually protected. Many people are developing software to actually hack
But
into
there's
these
also
wallets
software
to
to
steal
regulate
your
it.
Bitcoin.
Do you have an actual reference to that? Because I completely opposite. You know, and Dustin Moskovitz, the co-founder of Facebook, actually said he sees this as the future. And he recognizes that.
NPR's Planet Money blog even analyzes Bitcoins, talking about
Thefts
their value.
happen when a thief gains access to the private keys in a Bitcoin wallet. Say you
But
write
people
your
have also, but the point is that people can steal money no matter what, whether it's in Bitcoins or dollars. Why are you ignoring paper money and credit card transactions as well?
Nobody's going into my house and stealing the cash from my wallet. However, somebody from, I don't know, China could easily hack into my computer and steal my Bitcoin account.
All right,
That's quite
on that
isolated.
note, guys, gonna cut you off there. I really liked when you guys said the thing about the taxes and not be, like there's no taxes on Bitcoin that can potentially affect our government, our economy. You said that they were unreliable, which is true since the value is constantly changing. It's definitely not something that we can completely track and keep tally of. But I did like that you guys mentioned the globalization of the Bitcoins. That's something that we don't see very often with the multiple currencies, hundreds of currencies throughout the world. This is kind of something that everyone can not agree on, but everyone can use no matter where you're from. I like that you mentioned the stock market in terms of investments because the Bitcoin is similar to an investment in a way. And I like that you mentioned that the Bitcoin does not, it makes it so you don't have to depend on the government. If the government were to fail, then you still have the Bitcoins to back you up. Granted, they're working. So I am going to give this one to you guys. Points go to the Vikings, and flat currency is all fine and dandy. But the best things in life are free, including our ad space. We'll be right back.
Good evening and welcome to the third season premiere of tentatively titled Breaking News. I'm Joshua Sackheim.
And I'm Megan Mitchell. Welcome to Good Morning Emerson.
Welcome to Closing Time Live. And welcome to a brand new episode of Real Reactions.
This is College Kitchen.
And you're watching The Common Agenda.
All this and a whole lot more tonight on Speechless.
A little party never killed nobody, so we gon' dance until we drop. A little party never killed nobody. Right here, right now is all we get.
After a very close debate starting off our new season with a bang, the Knights have won tonight's debates. And now, here's my opinion on the topics. When it comes to the Chris Christie situation, I think this is indeed a case of political bullying gone too far. Being a politician is being in the spotlight as a leader and a role model. Exploiting this power for personal issues, especially something like obstructing traffic, is something a politician should never be caught up in. Not only were Christie's actions immature, they potentially cost him the presidential candidacy. As for celebrities and their privacy, I believe that the paparazzi and press are within their limits constitutionally. It is universally known that being famous comes with a spotlight. Celebrities should expect nothing less than cameras on them at any given time. Their decisions and actions are their responsibility, and how they portray themselves to the public is up to them. While the Bitcoin system is unique, the lack of widespread use and the limited supply lead me to view Bitcoins as a negative. The system has been referred to as a high-risk investment, and the company has had security issues that allow the coins to be stolen. Good night, Emerson, and keep it relevant. Mm.